This is a recording done February the 11th, 2019, and I'd like to present to y'all Chaos Rain presents BDSM Where You Stand on the Scale with the beautiful and lovely guest Neon Eyes. This is part one of a recording. Enjoy.
Yeah, I'm here.
Play the disclaimer for me, please.
Hold on. Okay.
The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
In the world where there's crime, corruption, violence, rape, death, murder, and death, and all other forms of atrocities, what you're witnessing, we are living in a state of chaos, and it'll take a greater or more extreme chaos to restore the order in which the world we live in today. Good evening, black people. This is me here, Gary, a.k.a. This is Chaos here. And tonight, we're going to have a nice treat. Something different than the normal from all forms of discussions I have on Talk Real Solutions, and it's something we can learn tonight. The number to call in for tonight's conference is 712-770-4160. The access code is 915-411-pound. I repeat, the call number for tonight's show is 712-770-4160, access code 915-411-pound. Before we start, hold on. Okay. All right. Miss Neon, if you could press hold on a second. Make sure I can see it on the queue. You might have to press *6 for the Q&A. Hold conference. Oh, the conference is locked. Oh, no. All right. So you should be able to press *6, and I'll see you on the board to open your mic. No, actually, to open you so you come up to the panel. I know you're listening. Before we start, I would like people to go to TalkRealSolutions.com. There you'll find the 3-point plan for Black empowerment, Black achievement. And under the 3-point plan, you'll see a list of Black-owned established banks, which last time I checked was 30 still existing, and we're still in the new year, so I'm not sure if it increased or decreased. But there are Black banks established here in the United States, 30 of them, spread out throughout this country. So if you're near a certain region where you could probably invest your money in a Black bank than a normal, typical Eurocentric bank, I would advise to put your money in a Black bank. You know, it's always good to trust certain establishments to have your resource spread out. It's more of a logical way of economics. And under the 3-point plan and the list of Black-owned banks, you'll find the latest news, latest articles found on the website on TalkRealSolutions.com. Another thing, while you're on the website, there is also a donation tab on the show. You can donate as low as $2 or greater. It is up to you how much you want to put in. It usually is for the show and to keep the show functioning and running. So any contribution will help. Also, you can find this show on YouTube as well, and it's titled Talk Real Solutions on YouTube. Which, let me go on YouTube right now and check if it's up and running. I have one in my mouth. Let's check. Okay. Let's look. All right, yep, we're here. So let me adjust the volume. Okay, we're live. All right. So now, as you can see, the website, actually the YouTube link will be titled Talk Real Solutions on YouTube. There you'll find all of the recent shows from last week and shows from previous past. And you can go back, and not only you can go back to this recording on free conference call, but you also can go to YouTube directly and re-listen to these previous recordings on YouTube. Let me check everything else I answered. So that's pretty much it. Everything else is on the website, and like I said, if you're not a subscriber to Talk Real Solutions on YouTube, you could, and keep up to certain events, either current or any event that goes on Talk Real Solutions. All right. So my guest tonight, Miss Neon Eyes. If you dare, please press star 6. One second. Let me figure something out. All right. Okay. I'm going to try to see if I can find you up here. I'm not sure if the star 6 is working. I'm going to hit and miss. This is working. Yeah. Weird.
Hello?
Yeah.
Chaos, can you hear me?
Yes, it's me. I was wondering, you could have pressed star 6, Neon. I could have saw you on the queue.
Oh, I don't really know how this thing works. Like after I heard you tell me to press star 6, I did, and it gave me an option. And I think I probably pressed the wrong option.
Oh, you had to press 1. You had to press 1. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, wait. Hold on. Let me see. You pressed it already?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, never mind. I'll open your mic. Well, let's begin.
Okay.
Hello. So the very first time we have the young, wonderful Miss Neon Eyes here, and like always, like a new guest here on Talk Real Solutions, I always like to take a step back before we go forward in life. So tell the people that's listening for the first time a little bit about yourself, Neon.
Well, I'm just, 24-year-old veteran. I make YouTube videos about a lot of random topics. Here lately, I've been doing some stuff on BDSM and going on different panels and I guess sort of just talking about it. I wouldn't consider myself an artist. It sounds so corporate, but I guess you could say that I am. I'm like heavily into arts and crafts and stuff like that. Health, fitness, wellness, that sort of thing.
Okay. Not much, but like I said, you're still in a process, because you're young, so, you have much more in life, so, But normally, like any crafty artist like yourself, it's like a journey, so we don't know much yet until, later on. Probably when you reach your 30s, you could probably reflect back what you have gone through and accomplished so far. But, at the route you go, there's still, work in the process,
Yeah.
So that's good. That's fine. Oh, yeah, and before we go, I'm trying to trying to go back. Like, I had the link earlier, so excuse me for a second, people. I'm trying to find the BDSM link. Let me find it. Yeah. Wait a second. Well, as we before we actually we could talk a little bit. Well, let's talk about that while I try to find the site itself. But for most of you that is not familiar with, what is BDSM? What is this?
BDSM. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, what is it in its entirety?
BDSM is the acronym for bondage, discipline, sadomasochism, or sadist masochist. And some people practice it as a lifestyle. Some people, it's just something they do in the bedroom to spice things up. But there are different branches of it, and different people have different needs. So every dynamic is different based on what the two people need or want in their particular relationship. So no one relationship is the same. People are into different things. Just because someone is into it doesn't mean they're into one kink or fetish or another. I mean, people, it's tailored. It's a self-practicing thing. It's not like some religion. There's not like some set of rules that you have to follow. It's self-practiced. So.
Okay, that's good. Now, because like any person, when I find new information, I always try to take a dive into it. But so normally with this BDSM test, like for example on the site right now, and matter of fact, can I share it? Let me see if I can share it on the chat room so people know what it is. Give me 1 second, black people. Let's look. I don't think I can share it because I don't think I'm a moderator. So I'll just leave that alone for now. But let's take a look. Now, if people didn't know, this is not just any test. This is to tell how you view yourself and your mate, your opposite mate, in regards to like compliance, tolerance. You know what I'm saying? So a person's need.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you finished?
Yeah, I'm finished. Yes, I'm finished. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. It's just basically a test to help you sort of understand your profile. As far as kink, as it's related to kink, like how submissive you are, how dominant you are, what role you probably fall into the most or the least, stuff like that. I mean, it's like a personality test for BDSM, basically.
Okay. I'm checking it now, and I'm looking at it right now. I could probably share it with the people that's listening. Normally it goes by all age, gender, no matter, orientations, no matter. You know what I'm saying, from what I'm looking. What are things that you find challenging about this test or mentions this test to the average person? You know what I'm saying?
I found here lately that in certain circles, a lot of people reject the word or the letters BDSM. It's like they think as soon as they hear BDSM, they think it's some sick, perverted, sort of inhumane thing that people partake in, and that's not at all what it is. It's not that at all. But I've just been noticing lately that some people have seemed like open to the idea, because I normally don't bring it up. If I bring it up, it's probably slipped out, but I never make it a point to just tell people that I'm into it or that I practice it, because I just feel like I don't need to wear it. I don't need to broadcast it, you know. But if it comes up in conversation, it comes up, and I get some interesting responses. Like even when I was on Obsidian's this past week, he interviewed me in Soul Alchemy, and the responses that we got from the men were just, it was very surprising. It was very surprising. Like, people are so closed-minded and very simple-minded. So.
Do you think some of the men are too conservative about their how they view, the test in its entirety if they ever took the test or ever even mentioned it? Like, because we have a lot of people out here, they have either unmet needs or certain weirdest inner problems within their self, or what they call desires, either unmet or what they view when they look at this or hear about BDSM. You think that's one of the main reasons why they
I think so too. I think that's true. Like, because they probably do have fetishes that fall inside of the identity of BDSM, but they probably would never know because they probably never saw it in a blog or talked to someone about it or had like an open discussion about it. So they probably never know that their kinks are actually quite common and normal. But yeah, I just think that people, it's portrayed, the way it's portrayed in the media and in movies and some books and stuff is just a complete contradiction and paradox as far as what it actually is. And that's one of the reasons I think why people are so influenced to believe or think the worst of it, because they don't really have a clear understanding, not even a surface level understanding of what it actually is. So they're easily persuaded to believe one thing over another, which is unfortunate.
I see. The challenging thing with us as race people, and another thing for people before I go on, I'm not sure if you have a website or anything like that. You don't have no like business thing, Neon? Just take a conversation, nothing like that right now or anything. Just had to ask.
Am I what? I'm sorry.
Like any like website or any like any business you have? I know you're young, so I'm not sure if you're an entrepreneur or anything like that. Just
okay. No, I don't have any.
Okay.
I don't have any.
Okay. That's one. Before we continue. The funny thing, because now I'm in the site, and it says something here, and I didn't know a word like this exists. They have surveys about orientations. One strictly heterosexual, then they got heteroflexible and bi-curious. I never heard a word like that. Heteroflexible? That's a word?
I don't really know too much about that. I guess that's probably someone who's very fluid in their sexuality. Like they don't mind, like for example, a man who doesn't mind being sexual in front of another man, or him like being close. I don't know. I don't even really know what that one means.
Okay.
Because I date strictly heterosexual men, so.
Okay. That's good. And they have another thing called bisexual and pansexual, which I didn't know that's another word. I don't know if that's saying in regards to women, pansexual. I think that's what they mean. Because a bisexual, well, actually, no, they can't say because women can be bi, but men could do bi too. So, the wording and the language itself is kind of, far-fetched. Now I'm looking at it, It's kind of confusing because usually you keep any text you create simple as possible, to be honest with you. When you create these little extra keywords, I don't know, it kind of throws people off.
Right. Well, on the site, they actually have a glossary. If you're, whatever page that you're on, scroll all the way down to the bottom. The bottom of the page, how they have like links for help and contact and things like that. If you scroll all the way down and click on glossary, you'll find some of the popular terms that are used in the glossary, like pansexual. I'm looking at the definition, and it says a person who is attracted to and may form sexual and romantic relationships with males, females, and people who identify outside of gender binary. So, yeah.
Okay.
So basically someone who disregards gender, basically.
Okay. Agree with that. Okay, and as people know, once you go on a site and people want to check the site for themselves, is they give you like a highlight colors. Usually green is the super agree to red is the disagree, and then the yellow is the neutral. And I like to dominate, especially in the bedroom. So, they start with, so I'm on it now looking at it and examining this, and so it's simple questions, And the funny thing, any questionnaire test, it tests, like I said, the individual on what they could deal with, what type of person they are, And it's not always a sexual thing, am I right, Neon Lines?
Right. A lot of it is actually the biggest and most important parts of it have nothing to do with sex. Sex is just people don't think you can't make certain connections unless sex is involved, and that's just not true.
And normally with connections, you're saying like other things like communication, maybe cuddling, maybe actual, other things that doesn't have to always relate to the actual physical.
Right. Like, for example, you have a play partner, right? And then say that your play partner wants to do a scene or whatever, but she gets sexual stimulation and gratification from mind games, like trying to dig her way out of a hole or interrogation or something like that. Like, that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. A lot of times it doesn't really involve any sort of physical or overtly sexual activity to get that stimulation. And that's the part of BDSM that falls under mental BDSM or mental play, mental struggle play or mental bondage, however you want to word it. But, yeah, it's, there's so many different forms of play, and it's just really interesting,
I see. All right. And let me get the call number again so people that probably didn't get a chance to tune in earlier. The call number for tonight's show is 712-770-4160. The access code is 915-411-pound. I repeat, 712-770-4160. Access code 915-411-pound. So tonight's subject, I titled this, Chaos Rain presents BDSM, where you stand on the scale. That my guest, Neon Eyes. And the eyes are the key to life. You know what I'm saying? I kind of like that name. And not just any eyes. You have the radiant eyes that just put you on a spell.
Aw, thanks.
And I know you must be a big geek, like, comic book fan, too, watching those superheroes, right, Nia?
You mean am I a comic book geek?
No, like, you like the supernatural stuff, like superheroes,
not really. Like, I just got into comics and stuff. Someone introduced me to it, and I started, like, buying all of these books, these comic books and stuff. So I just got into it. Some fun stuff.
Well, let me elaborate better. Like, if you don't really buy the comics, not everybody should buy comics. Like, you like watching, like, movies that deal with supernatural science fiction,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like superheroes.
Yeah.
Or, like, what do they call it? Those Harry Potter type movies, or, like, the vampire. I'm talking about them type of stuff, Those.
Like sci-fi?
Yes, sci-fi, yes.
Yeah, I love sci-fi, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, let me continue. One of the few things that I find is an issue with us as people, and especially when it comes to when we hear the issue with the black woman, is regards to submission. And they have a problem submitting to their man or the black man, which you constantly hear this conversation over with a lot of brothers. The sisters don't like to submit to the brothers. I'm not sure if you know, in your perspective, or an issue in regards to the submission part as a woman or a young woman.
I don't have issues with that. I actually think, and I never knew that this was honestly an issue among our people until I came to YouTube. Because normally it would be natural for a woman to want to submit because that's a safe and comfortable place for her to be if she's under a man who's worthy of her submission and who's a great leader, protector, and all of those other things. It seems to me that you would want to submit and let him protect you and let him guide you and lead you, But I never had an issue with that because to me it always felt comfortable and safe to be able to submit to a worthy man. So I don't understand what the big problem is.
Yeah, but as you know, because, if you just came on YouTube and you find that most of the serious issues on voices from other outlets, and you hear the conversation, and that's one of the few things a lot of brothers are actually complaining about. And I sit there and I watch and I listen to some of the brothers, and I say, yeah, it's one of the major problems, But like anything, as a man, you can only do so much. But like I said, if you're like a woman and you're not willing to submit on just the basic stuff, then you're not going to submit at all, period. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember there was a conversation on a particular panel, and this is how it is gotten, not to all women, but we'll say just enough, that, some of them view even leadership by the way of how much resource or financials the man got to be considered a leader. What's your take on it? If a man doesn't have a whole bunch of money, he can't be considered a leader. What's your take on that?
I think that's actually very foolish to say something like that, because you have a lot of men in this world that are rich in resources and have wealth and assets, but they're horrible people. Mm-hmm. So a person can totally not really have a lot and be a great leader. And, I mean, you probably could find someone with a lot of money who's a great leader, but to write someone off as not being worthy of submission just because they don't have a lot, to me, you want a certain level of you do want to, as a woman, we do want to know that we're going to be protected and provided for, mm-hmm. and in exchange serve, our men and fulfill their role, allow them to fulfill their roles in the relationship. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't have any kind of discretion when it comes to if a man is, independent or established. Of course you want to be with a man who's established, but I think that's foolish to think that,
Mhm. Mhm. And the funny thing, I had to bring this question up because I sit there and examine every talking points from not only males but also the females when they talk this stuff, And I always think even that type of thinking is very low, and it's not really logic. You know what I'm saying? Because if I remember history properly, there were kingdoms that lost almost empires and wealth, and the only thing they had was a certain thing that made them special, that people still took on that male's leadership without a whole bunch of money or some resource. So for any female that will make a statement and holds firm to that is very foolish at the end of the day, because money in itself, which really that's what the case may be, doesn't really define a man in his type. It's always the worth value he does,
Mm-hmm. Right.
What is his integrity, what he stands for. I'm saying, can he pull a sense of crowd in the direction he wants, I'm saying, for the betterment. Right. These are things we don't really talk about. Even there was a good book, and I forgot the name of the book, I don't know if I still have it with me, about leadership. And last time I checked, I don't remember even in the book itself they talk about a man must have a whole lot of money to be considered a leader. Because if that was the case, let's say that's true, right? People don't understand, why do you think you give your time and energy to entertainers and pastors, and you look at them as leaders, but they're not directing you anything where you need to go? They'll take your money.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that people view those with a lot of money or a lot of access to resources as something powerful. People see money as power. And it's not the money, it's what you're doing with the money actually that's going to determine if you're actually powerful. What kind of person are you? Do you have some sense? I mean, how do you navigate throughout the world? You can have a lot of money and just not have a clue about life or how to navigate. Is that someone who I'm supposed to choose to be with just because he has a lot of money? No, that would be foolish.
But it goes to, again, in regard to discernment of a person, And if your mind's on one-sided, then obviously you will be led a bigger fool,
Right.
As a man, I don't follow no leadership per se, but I go by what a person is doing and say what value they bring to not only himself but the collective at the end of the day. And that's how people should be viewing it, Not because this person had a whole bunch of money. I mean,
Right.
but like I said, there's only a few sisters, not all, but just enough. Will sit there and make those erroneous statements. So that's why I kind of brought that question up. And it was something that was very interesting that came to my mind after, going through that and listening to that. And I take it, Neon, since you have a more of a traditional role, I take it that you had like mostly both your parents in your life, most likely, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. That's why I could feel the way how you answer things, It's on, because see, one thing, and I know ABC is more critic to this when he talks about the family and the importance of family. And I say a family is always a necessity structure, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
a decent structured family, you're not going to have really good communities,
Right.
If you think about it, when they regentified most of the areas black people are residing, they couldn't do that when there's a serious, strong base of people that's still together family-wise. Because once you hurt one person that's in the collective family, you hurt pretty much everybody else, because people are going to start noticing. They're going to start acting, reacting, and make some moves to really stop what's being attacked. Now, it's like a known virus comes into the body. And before it could spread completely, it has to make sure that there's no form of immune system to start fight against it. And the immune system is too low in numbers because fracture, then the whole virus takes over the whole body and kills it off slowly and quickly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how they look at a community that has intact families, and that's how I view it. Okay,
That's a great way of explaining it.
I mean, it's a good way to look at it because if we don't know anything, let's look at how certain things work in nature. It's another good way of looking at it. One thing, because I know you and Soul Alchemy was talking to us on the other brothers panel. She is. I know she's familiar with this test too. Soul Alchemy, am I right?
Yes.
Okay, so she took it too, and she also advocates this test for most people. And to be honest, people, the purpose for even talking about this is to get an understanding of another outlook. Because when I feel with the crowd that you were in that was dealing with it, I look at it that a lot of them were. I don't think they were asking real logical questions. Some of them were asking some weird questions, Like, say, you're not going to engage in bondage. We all know this. Well, you ask about this and that. Or talking about bestiality. Last time I checked, I don't remember black people engaged in bestiality. I don't know, I could be wrong. Unless there's some videos out there that I see them do it just as much as the Europeans, which is not really reality, a factual statement. But, this is something that, it shows what you are, what you like, and do's and don'ts, And another thing, like I said about submission, and let's say every sister took this test. I'll be honest with you, I don't think most of them would fare well in this test. I'm saying if it does ask those type of questions, because you have to be somewhat honest. I'm saying it's a Richter scale. It's a scale, And anytime you feel you're not honest, it will give you pretty much a poor grade. Right?
Well, I don't know if there's a such thing as poor results, but I know that there's a such thing as inaccurate results if you're not being honest. If you're not being honest, you're not going to get an explanation.
Okay.
So you can either take the test and be honest, even if it's embarrassing. No one is going to see the answer to your questions. All they're going to see is the results. Only you get to see that. Only you get to share that if you want to. So if you look at your results and they're contradictory, you think, to who you are, then maybe you weren't honest. So.
Now, one other thing. Since you've been doing now short videos on your page, have you gotten any pushback or any constant attacks by the opposite sex or the same sex?
No, I haven't. Like, I started talking about BDSM on my channel like 5 months ago, and all of the responses, I've never gotten any negative responses or simple-minded questions or anything like that. I mean, it's usually if people have a question, they're honestly asking, not to insult or attack, but just to honestly know. But what they were doing on Obsidian's channel, I just think my audience is different from this audience. So they're not going to react the same, you know? So.
And you have to keep in mind, a sitting audience, because they feel there's an issue in regards to the black collective, in regards to the black female fuckery, he likes to call it.
Yeah.
Hold on. Hold on.
Fat cough.
Give me a second. All right. Thank you. Yeah, black female fuckery and how he views it as an all-time high. But, you know, I can't really front him that he's wrong about it. But, you know, I said, damn, buddy, you going in, like, heavy, you know what I'm saying? But the funny thing with Obsidian, he does have an audience. He does cater his audience very well. So I can't knock him from that, you know. But like I said, with any audience that he created, you know, that's their mindset. That's how they view not only the world, but how they view his talking points. So even when he had you and Soul Alchemy ask these very in-depth questions, which I didn't really catch in early parts of this show. So I want to know which question that you find that was very unusual throughout the whole discussion. I don't know if you can remember that which question they asked. You can remember?
It was no question that he asked. It was mainly the questions and comments from his audience.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What question the audience asked that you feel was like, you know, you ain't ready for this at all. You know, I think you should leave this.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever heard or saw someone associate bestiality with BDSM. I just couldn't for the life of me figure out how they even formed it in their mind that the two could be associated or in somehow, some way synonymous with each other. That was the first time I ever saw that, and I just couldn't. That threw me completely off. It was weird.
Okay. Let me go in the chat room see if anybody's throwing out any unusuals. The speak sounds really young. Did she state her age? Yes, she stated her age, and you should have tuned in earlier. Next question. Let's see. The female speaker sounds extremely Caucasian. Actually, she's actually black. I mean, I don't actually see an actual picture. I never seen an actual. Well, I don't know if I've seen an actual picture, but you know, I'll take your word for it for now. What else? They're talking about grown-up topics. I just hope she's over 21 years old. Oh, come on, please. Next question. But no, these are statements. These aren't questions. For Chris Henson to come charge. I don't know who that is. Yeah, this chat room is very small, so you're not gonna find a lot of things on. Like Obsidian had like what 600 people on that stream. So you know,
actually,
you know how.
Yeah, actually, that stream, as it was streaming, it didn't really get a lot of views because he wasn't going in on BFF. So it actually didn't get a lot of views. The stream, the playtime didn't. Not as much as his other videos because we weren't being ratchet. So.
Oh, but when we talk about sex, individual people, it always draws attention for the viewership. Okay, you know, there's one thing black people like: entertainment, religion, and sex. You know.
Right. Yeah.
These are three things from the Gray regime, or what Surin Gray said, that has to be cut out of black people's conversation and action. Because everybody knows with the religion part, you love and spend money with Jesus, and Jesus not giving you shit or whatever religion, so cut that out. The other thing, entertainment. Too many people indulge in watching fuckery on TV and other outlets and other things and not really focus on the bigger issues, so entertainment has to go. And the sex is so adulterated. It's like you can get pussy like buying Popeye's chicken, which I ain't going to disagree because they just fling it out like that. So these are three areas that, you know, like my good brother Surin Gray developed, you know, that has to be cut out of 9 areas of warfare. You know, because once you cut those 3 out, then all the other things will fall in line out of the 6. Because now you're not so much embodied or distracted, for lack of better words. So if you never heard that, you hear it now. You know?
No, I heard him. I'm familiar with the Gray Faulkner plan. And I remember hearing him say that. I just think it's a time and place for everything. And if you are discussing warfare and military science and stuff, you don't need to be talking about sex. So I agree with it in that sense.
Yeah. Well, it's just an outlook, just to let people know. Say anything to really focus on areas that really keep people in disarray. Those are the ones that he just emphasized. That's pretty much it. Nothing more, nothing less. You know. All right, to the chat room. Let me see. All they saying is that they need a real man. That is ABC. I want to stop in and holler at your brother for about okay. That's nothing to really worry about. Hope Gary has more. Wait, what's this? And invite a teenager on T.R.S. Well, if a person has a problem that this woman's a teenager, call in on the show. You hear from yourself. Stupids. I want Pastor Suits doesn't like this topic. Interesting. Wait, the Pastor Suits doesn't like this topic. Interesting. I don't know what that means. Okay, you're bored, Gary. I pressed 1. Oh, somebody did press 1. So let me check. All right, so somebody has a question. So let's bring in this so-called caller. I open your line.
Hey, Gary. What's up, Gary? How you doing?
How you doing, Howard?
Yeah, nothing. I just wanted to say, man, props to you and your guests. It sounds like a really good show. I really don't have a question. I just want to give you guys both props. Sounded real good so far. What I listened to, I don't know why people are saying that this young lady, I guess, saying that she's a super young lady. Hey, if you guys can't handle a woman that sounds sweet and I guess you guys can't handle that. I mean, she says she's over 18, right?
Yes, I'm 24. I'm 24.
Yeah. So she's 24 years old, and I guess if people can't handle that, that's on them. But for me, I like listening to a woman that sounds like her, real woman style. So, man, great show, Gary. Appreciate it, bro. And keep doing your thing. And sister, man, don't let the people get to you. You know, don't put any bass in your voice. You just keep handling and doing what you're doing, and some people out there that like it. So that's all I got. Hey, no problem.
Wait,
no problem.
Hey, Howard, one question. Because do you find it interesting that most of the people that listen, let's say for the fellas, that what they expect that a woman is supposed to sound a certain way, and instead, you know, if you come across a woman that sounds like Neon Eyes, to be a little bit surprising. Like most dudes are not expected to find a woman of her stature or voice to even grace the presence of this show.
No, I don't understand your question. You're saying, dude.
Well, my question is this: out of all people that you know that comes on the show, are you finding it very interesting that when they find, let's say, guests like Neon Eyes sound so soft and sweet that it brings a little question marks to some of these dudes? Like, does a woman have to be very young to be soft and sweet?
I think to some dudes that may have problems with their own sexuality, maybe they do have a problem with a woman sounding like she does. I don't myself, but maybe some guys do, and maybe that may be due to because they don't want a real. I mean, to me, yeah, she does sound, you know, a little young or whatever, but she's 24. It's fine, but she sounds good. She's talking on a very high level. So maybe the guys that have an issue with that, that maybe guys that want to maybe more rough sounding, more
like woman should be rough
sounding woman, and that's okay. I mean, if you like that, that's fine. I'm not going to hit on them. I mean, if you like that, I mean, that's what it is. But don't put down someone else on the other side of that. And so, I mean, that's all I got to say. I mean,
but
hey,
if you think about it, Howard, that's still a result of some form of condition we some of men we operate sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Especially depending where we are in our neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? We might be come across a young sister and she might not sound like Nia Eyes. You know what I'm saying? She might sound a little rough, or you know, and that might be normal to us. But you know, when we come across an actual that you know sounds other, it's foreign because it's not known. in some of our communities.
I mean, it could be conditioning. It could be, it could be it could be a lot of things. But what I'm saying is, don't put a woman down, a sister down, because she sounds a certain way. And this woman to me sounds, and the sister, what's her name again? What's your name, sister?
Neon Eyes.
Okay, I'm gonna skip right over that because I don't think I can pronounce that. But
I'm just going by my YouTube name.
What is it again?
Neon Eyes.
Neon Eye?
Eyes.
Okay, I got you. And what I'm saying is that, different people have different tastes. Different people have different things. What I'm saying, don't put someone down because they're 24 and they have a lighter voice or a dainty voice, or that doesn't make her less than any other the women that call in. And so what I just want to tell a sister, man, don't let that affect you. Keep on doing your thing. Whether a person like me may agree or disagree with you, that's neither here nor there. Just keep doing you, and don't let the people affect you because of the way you may sound. That's crazy, though, actually. But I guess that's where we at today.
Yeah. All right.
And that's all I got, Gary, man. I wanted to tell you, this show, bro. Do your thing, man.
All right. Thank you, Howard. Thank you. I kind of like Howard, saying, because, at times, when Aids might bring a certain guest or anything, he gives his honest opinion, and that's what I respect about Howard. Thank you, Howard. Yeah, Neon.
Nice.
So,
I like him. He was nice, Yeah.
Yeah. But, it brings something like a bigger picture, at times. It's always what we do out here as community, as collective. It's always a result of conditioning, So let's say somebody that has bring a certain sense of insight or a different perspective. If you don't sound the part or anything like that, they look at you as foreign, in a society that's already programmed, And I'm saying, and mind you, you're not a tall woman. Also, you're like 4'11", right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So not every woman that's as short or sound weight are average men, depending on his background, will look at you or find it very odd, because a lot of our boys that become men are not conditioned to really know how a woman sounds, when they're actually very sweet. They'll look at that as soft. You're soft.
I thought that's what men wanted. Someone who isn't so rough around the edges and loud, and it's like some men don't respond well to femininity nowadays. I don't get it.
I don't get it either, but like I said, in the society, like I said, up is down and down is up. We live in a very backwards society, We have to do things opposite. We have to do things the opposite, and it's structured for that for a purpose only to, not only destroy us as a race of people, but just society as an entirely, especially here in the West, we call America,
Yeah.
Because when you set a plan in action, you want the end result to happen, not right away, but within decades. You'll see the results of a plan put out, Now, some people might say it might be conspiracy theories. Okay, we'll get that. But let's see what is the end result when it's happened,
Yeah.
What is the intention supposed to do, I always look at the end result. I don't look at saying, all right, you put this out here. So what I should be seeing within time, not, let's say, in the first 5 years, but I want what I should see the outcome happen within the first generation. As you see right here, you see from the drug epidemic back in the 80s, then, you see, the rise of so-called feminism in that same era, the 80s. And really people don't understand feminism because you're not knowing about it well. It really started to take a rise in the 80s. Imagine that, Neon, before you were born.
Right.
It was a created entity back in the 60s, and it's supposed to show its adult stage in the 80s. So before you even know about this or hear about this, and you came across YouTube, you find the situation our people face, as a collective, and see that we have a lot of work to do, And you're right. Some men, if they said they don't want that, they don't know what the hell they want. Like some of the sisters don't know what the hell they want. And that's how I see it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not sure if you want to respond to that as I go back to the chat. Let's check. Lady MJ is okay. I'm still in the mood. No. Okay. All right. They're not talking enough anyway. Some foolishness. All right. Let me take up other questions.
Okay.
In regards to, I'm not sure if you're still in the dating market or you're in a relationship. But let's say okay. Yeah. Let's say either or. Let's say if you view dating now at your age in this time frame, do you find it more challenging or just like, what's the word? Not traditional as a woman that, come from structure. Like as a woman, let's say if you're single or you're in a relationship, what you view now as the dating market as a millennial Z in this day age? I'm not sure about
some things that I think that I say are abnormal to me. I would have to say a lot of the things that I see online, because I know we live in this digital era of instant gratification that needs to be fulfilled right here, right now. I'm not really into that. I'm not on social media. I'm only on YouTube and the other website. I don't have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or any of that stuff. And I think that it's a bit odd to me. I mean, I wasn't raised like the typical American. I mean, I grew up here. I'm American, but I'm not conditioned the way average Americans are. So when I go online and I see girls posting nearly nude photos or posting dating through Instagram, that's bizarre to me. And it just seems to me like I think that's probably the only thing, because I actually just started back dating because I had to take time off because I was in the military, and I had an accident while I was in the military, so I needed some me time. But after, just recently getting back into dating, that's probably the most bizarre thing that I've seen thus far. It's just, I don't know.
I didn't know you were in the military, Nia. Imagine this. I always buck up against a person that was in the service. God bless.
Yeah,
I'm so nice with it right now. There's not one person I find that never served their country. God bless America.
Wow.
Hey, did you did the whole 4 years?
I did 5 years.
Okay, you did your time.
Yeah, I was honorably discharged in 2017, and since then I've been just doing a lot of work with veterans, like crisis outreach and stuff like that. So.
Okay. I never asked anybody about the dishonorable discharge. I'm not sure if you could explain it or anything, but isn't it more difficult to get real employment if they find
No, I wasn't dishonorably discharged. I was honorably discharged.
Oh, honorably. Okay, honor. Okay.
I got an honorable discharge.
Okay, I didn't catch you quick. Thank you for correcting me. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Before we continue, I want to talk more about that. Let me open another mic. Who's this?
How you doing? Good evening. This is All Facts. I go by the name of All Facts on the social media realm. How you doing?
How you doing, All Facts?
Pretty good. I'm just kind of like tuning in. I really don't. I kind of should have waited. I don't know what your guest is coming on. What's the main topic? Can you beat me? I've heard her talk about bestiality and dating on social media. And I think Howard was talking about her voice, but what's the main topic of the show?
I take it you tuned in like 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. How long?
Yeah.
This show is dealing with BDSM. It's a test to see what tolerance you take as a person, and then viewing like the entire as yourself or dealing with a mate. That as far as I could sum up so far. I can't share the link right now on the chat room because I'm not a moderator. Unfortunately, for people to take the test. Actually, you know, I'll do this. Since I'm on the site, I will give it to Tyrone and he'll share the link. But that's far it is right now.
It's a mating IQ test.
It's like a personality test. It's like a BDSM personality test. It sort of helps you distinguish, like, from the vanilla world or from mainstream, your profile as a person.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, it's like a personality test. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, that's what you guys were talking about. Okay.
Yeah, but the whole bestiality thing came up because people somehow were trying to associate that with BDSM, and I was explaining that I don't know when, where, how that ever happened because that's not in any way related to BDSM. So I just thought it was very bizarre and odd that someone would say that. So that's how that came up.
Right, bestiality. I mean, that's another term that's kind of unclear. I don't know what bestiality is. I really don't. But okay, it's a personality, and I guess you can find. I guess you can say if your extraordinary personality versus an average person. Okay. Well, I'll sit back because I don't, I really, like I said, I just tuned in. I thought it was another one of those Gary shows where they talk about homosexuality and they're really, trying to get, that's what I thought I heard bestiality. But I'll sit back and I'll listen and I'll turn back in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you.
By the way, I'm also a veteran, honorable veteran, and I'm hearing that you got hurt in the military. Make sure you get all your benefits, man. You served this country honorably, and you got hurt. Make sure you get all your benefits.
Oh, well, salute to you. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, and that's all I gotta say. I'll fall back, guy.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. One thing you'll notice on this show, particularly, you'll find a lot of people serving in the military on this show. Even Mr. Tyrone Thompson served in the military as well. He spent almost actually a generation in the service. Over a generation.
Oh, wow.
So it's a lot of people give their time and energy to the military, which is good. I have my views on the military for some time now. Not really good views on it, but after I come across respectful men like Mr. Gray, Truman Gray, especially, I have a more keen respect about the military now. So, and it took another black man to really explain it so I could oversee and understand what really it is and encompass, and its importance.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem of our community. We don't really understand and invest and see the importance of it. It's more than just picking a gun and shoot overseas, which really that sometimes it might be the case, but it's much bigger than that. You gain discipline. You'll get the benefits, which really, and if you don't understand, most of the income that's spent in this country, more than half of it is invested in the military. Right. Yeah. So, if you want that check or any source of resource, you have to really go into those fields, those dominant fields, So years ago, I think over almost close to 20 years ago, almost 35 or 37% there was black people in the military, and now it dropped in the first over 10 years. It dropped from over 30% to now 19%. So that's not a good sign, Yeah. I mean, we have to be in those fields that are very dominant, not just because of the finance and reward, but you gotta be in those same fields, as any individual. You don't want to be the race of people that's left out on those dominant fields. You know what I'm saying? Which your enemy got most of the weapons and the skilled training, and you don't. So it's not a good look. Independent. Because but like always, we as race people, we're trained to be dependent overall. And there's consequence to that. Not right away, but in time, it's shown the consequence of being dependent constantly. That's another story. But my question, you got seriously hurt. So did you got lost or you just was it like a serious,
Yeah, it was an event that happened that triggered some things in me, and it was, I don't mind saying it, I had a nervous breakdown. I'm not built for the military. I'm not built for it, and it just all of the stress and all of the mental demands it took a toll on me, and it just
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, like I said, and like always, I'm not really too fond of women in the service like that because mostly military war is more like a man thing. As you could tell, Neon, from your experience, you're not going to disagree on that. But if women are going to volunteer, they should only do less time as possible. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to take a toll on you, not just physically, but psychologically. It will.
Yeah, that's the hardest part of it. It's the hardest part. It's very demanding, and I don't think that women should be in the military.
You're the first woman that said it.
Yeah, I have different views about that, and I can actually speak on it because I was in for 5 years. So women, they have a tendency to hold the unit back because of willpower and strength. And women get pregnant, women have a monthly cycle, so that already puts them in no position to be in war, And the female cannot do what the man can do as far as, I just think that traditional roles in nature have been just totally backwards and ignored. And, yeah, it's unfortunate.
I hear. Yeah. And but like I said, I respect a female that's being honest. It's not so because you say you're what they call strong or a strong sister or independent. You're being honest.
Right.
You know your comfort, and I'm saying that real feminine energy is in you. You know what I'm saying? And like I said tonight, I'm bringing a different flow to most of y'all listeners. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually bringing a femininity on here. You know what I'm saying? From that y'all, that will listen don't really encompass or grasp. You feel me? Yes, I got that. What else am I asking? Matter of fact, let's go back to the chat room. Let's see what's up. See if they straighten up. And I might have to get the call number again. Let's check. Watch a woman take a horse or a dog beastie. What the hell? Watch a woman take a horse or a dog as bestiality. Charles Faulkner. How you doing, Charles?
Charles Faulkner.
Wait, hold on. Let me give the number. I'm gonna type the call number. Wait, let me 1 second, people. The number for calling tonight is 71. Wait, let me put my board. The call number for tonight's show is 712-770-4160. The access code is 915-411-pound. I repeat, 712-770-4160. Access code 915-411-pound. You know what I'm saying? Call in for your questions or comments, and that I will put in the chat room. And, if people are listening late, I have no marks to that because y'all, if y'all not listening early to the show, I might give a brief summary, but that's pretty much it. I shouldn't be doing it, but I love y'all, so it is what it is. Okay, let me think of other questions. Military, I'll talk about that. Now thinking about it, who do you think would you recommend mostly, or not recommend, let's say, who do you think this test will be more suitable for in regards to the age range? Do you think people that's in their, give me a hypothetical number. What age range do you think would be suitable for a test like this?
I would probably say over 18, but it does take a certain level of maturity and
Mm-hmm.
and willingness to just be honest. So I would recommend it for someone who's a bit more mature when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
relationships and sex and, personal desires and stuff like that. Because if you're not honest, then there's no point in taking the test. It defeats the purpose of the test. If you're not going to be honest, or if you don't understand on a more mature level what the questions mean, then so probably someone who's at least I don't know, because maturity varies from person to person. You have some older people who are just like high school mindset. So that's what I would say to that.
You mentioned about the maturity. I'm starting to notice that people that's in their 40s or maybe touching 50s are not as well matured in regards to age than what they act or conduct themselves. So something like this, and mind you, I could spot a person by what age they are or age what they said they are to know what level they are mentally.
Right.
It's not always. I always not recommend, but always like the movie Elementary Genocide by Shabazz Rahim, where he, if he were one Caucasoid, I don't know if he's a psychologist or something, but he always go by the term of the brain and how it develops at age 25. I kind of go a different direction. I disagree. I usually say it's 28, most likely. Once you touch on 30, close to that is more of a mature level. But because how society is structured and done very well, that a person can still act like a child, like in their late 40s, even early 50s.
Right.
So it's more than just the brain develop. It's supposed to reach at a high level development stage at 28, but it goes even further up the conditioning of the person.
Yeah.
Because if that was true, there are a lot of people that's around 30 or older should be doing better and be mature better.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. And like you said before, some people are not even mature around that since you've been around most people. Am I right?
Right.
Yeah. So I look at that.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's just very self-evident that age does not equal intelligence
Mm.
or maturity.
Well, Greg, may I ask a question if you don't mind?
Yeah, I'm hearing background noise. Make sure you're in line. I'm off X.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
I'm
Ask your
sorry.
question. Ask your question.
Yeah, I did hit my line. Let me. I'm sorry. Well, the brain develops at 25 or 26. Why don't we upgrade the age for consenting adults, or saying what an adult is on a scientific level? Why don't we say, going to the military should be 25, 26. Drinking alcohol 25, 26. I really doesn't know what that really fully. If the brain fully doesn't develop, the brain is too immature to do what? I mean, what does that threshold really mean? Because,
if you know off that,
I say if my frame is not fully developed, then I guess I'm not free to make cognitive decisions. Because my brain is not even developed yet. But that's the question I just wanted to ask you since you brought that up.
Yeah, if you want to answer it, Neon, I'll give my perspective. You want to tackle that question?
As it relates to the military, I think the military actually builds character. But I would have to ponder and contemplate on that a little bit more, because I simply use that logic to answer the question about the test. So I would have to ponder and contemplate a little bit more as it relates to, age restrictions with the military and drinking and alcohol and stuff like that. Yeah.
And, to pushing the age of certain, I guess, consenting actual adults in certain fields, it would help. But like always, way how society is structured, making it like over 18 is what they deem as adult age, knowing that they find studies otherwise in regards to the development of the brain of, logic and reason is different because, they need the bodies, And like I said, it is somewhat of a determined factor, but it's not logic in reality because anybody could be fully developed per se at that age, but they could still act mature when they get older because there's something more deeper going on. Now, we could say that could be dealing with the environment, most likely that why people will conduct and behave the way they do, because environments always shape people's reality at the end of the day. It's just like doing the rat test, where they give the rat a certain resource, and after a while they start taking away the resource of the rat inside that box. And what happens to the rat does? It acts violent, acts a certain way because you affect his environment, So we had to put that as a key factor. Say, okay, so what factors environmental-wise will keep a person to still conduct in a childlike manner mentally? We give them entertainment. Hell, we do other factors, and then after a while, you let him loose in the world, and way that he operates in the environment, either he matures out of it or not. If he's aware of it, That's how I look at it. That's how I view it. So when I hear you tell me that some adults don't act mature at the age.
This was part 1 of an episode titled Chaos Reign Presents BDSM